didn't have to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne. You never know till it's over. So pretty it hurts. Just beware of the thorns.
Hello YouTube. Sorry about the weekend. I was busy for quite a bit and visiting people. But anyway, before we get started, if you're new here and you like prison content, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that like and comment. Let's get into this. I'd almost forgotten about this guy, but a conversation came up the other day and it reminded me of this guy. But I can't remember his name. But this is going to be about relationships in prison, not with guards or anything, but with people on the outside. And that was what brought my attention to it, because somebody asked about that. You know, you see all kinds of things. You see people yelling on the phone. Yeah, send me that money. You know, you better send that money. Basically threatening. Look, your people who are looking after you do not have to send you anything. And that's the attitude I always had, you know, and I always appreciated when my parents or my brother or even a friend sent money. I was very appreciative of whatever they sent. But you'll have people on there, I need $200, I need $100. Maybe if you're in debt, you do. But that's your own fault for getting in debt. You don't need that much to live off of it. I will say that if you don't have any money coming in, you're going to probably lose weight if you don't get a hustle or something going on. But you have these people just demanding their mom, their girlfriends, or wives, or whatever, send them money, their parents, and sometimes even cussing them out. I've seen people on there begging, please, you got to send this money. I've seen people trying to play games. If you don't send this money, they're going to kill me. And that's usually with either a parent or like a girlfriend or wife or something. And sometimes it's true that you owe money, your life can be in danger. And so, God forbid any of you guys go to prison, just keep that in mind. Stay away from debt, because they're going to want paid. But anyway, they'll tell them that the ones that are playing a game will say, if you don't send this money, they're going to kill me, or, you know, hurt me or something, you know. And it's really just a game to try to get money in. I've seen guys say, I broke my Celly's TV, you guys send me $250 to pay for it. Well, here's the thing, at least in Missouri, you cannot buy your Celly or anybody else any device off of the canteen, like a radio, TV, or anything. If you break it, they have to have the money and buy it themselves. So if anybody ever tells you that, especially if they're in Missouri, because I know this for a fact, they're full of it. Just period. You know, that's a game. I remember when I got to the walls, these old heads that was kind of schooling me and how to do time stuff. There was a couple of them. Back then we had Polaroid pictures, and they would buy me a picture ticket, and they would pay me to have a photo taken, and then they would, some of these guys was 30, 40 years old, and they'd send it to girls in their 20s and 30s, you know, and say this is what they look like, and stuff, you know. But I finally stopped that. I told them, I said, I can't do this, you know. And I said, this is wrong for me, you know. And they used to joke with me, you got to get rid of that conscience of yours, you know. Like, you're soft, you know. They was teasing me, but they respected me enough that they stopped asking me to do that, and I appreciated it. I mean, I just felt it was wrong. And then you have these guys that every time they get a chance to get on the phone, they get on the phone with a girl, and it's like they're insecure. They're afraid their girl is going to be, you know, people got a life out there. And you can't be calling them every chance you get and staying on his phone as long as you can. Back then, before they put a 15-minute limit on the phone, uh, people would just call and call and then redial and call. And people were waiting in line to use phone was getting upset about it. And you'd hear these guys on there, well, what are you doing? What are you doing now? Where are you going? What? Who you with? Just, there's insecure. And which brings me to this one guy. Excuse me. He uh, he had a girlfriend that was well, she was a stripper, and every chance he got, he'd run up there on the phone and call her up. And these other guys was telling him, man, she's done went on to somebody else. They's mainly just joking with him, you know, giving him a hard time, but they were probably right. But that wasn't for me to say, you know, I didn't get involved in it, but I would laugh. Um, but I also felt sorry for the guy because he it was just, I can be nice about this. It was kind of pathetic. I mean, just imagine some woman, she can't do anything without getting a phone call from the prison, and this guy wanting to know what she's doing and who she's with and um, where she's going and all this stuff, you know. And tried to stay on the phone as long as possible. There's people that made him get off the phone, and I mean, forcibly a couple times. And but he, when he wasn't on the phone, people were giving him a hard time about because that's all he talked about was this girl and how much he loved her and how much she loved him. And these guys were telling him, she's done moved on, dude. She's just accepting your phone calls because uh, probably out of pity. No, nobody knows if that's true or not. Maybe they really did have a love thing going, but guy was just telling me, so man, that guy is the prison time is just going to eat him up. He's letting time do him, and he needs to forget about that girl and move on. You know, he ain't got a lot of time, but he's got enough that he can't be doing this every day, all day long. And I agreed with it. You know, you can't focus on one thing on the outside 24/7, and that's how people. I've seen people lose their minds over it. And I remember when I got transferred to Farmington, there was another guy that was at the walls with me. He got transferred to Farmington, and he was from Farmington. And he used to go and get as close to the fence as he could and just stare out the fence to the outside every day. Whenever he was on the yard, he would do that. You'd see him sitting there. And it drove him crazy. I mean, he slowly over time lost his mind. I'm not trying to be rude or put him down or anything like that. I'm just telling you this is what happened to him. And it was real sad because I kind of liked the guy, you know. And it was just sad to see that happen to him. I'm not saying don't think about the outside, don't think about people on the outside, but you can't make that your focus 24/7. It'll it'll destroy you. And that's what was happening with this guy with this woman, and people was telling me, he goes, "Oh, but she loves me. She would never cheat on me." And these guys just were, man, dude, she's a stripper. That's what she does for a living. She's gonna find somebody else. You're not there giving her what she needs. And he wasn't hearing it, and he'd get mad, and these guys would just laugh at him. And like I said, I laughed a couple times because he told some things that was, it's hard to believe. But like I said, at the same time, I felt sorry for him. And he's not the only case. There's others like that. And some just think about just getting out all the time. Um, but you have some guys, and I was one of them. I told my high school girlfriend, she came up the walls to see me, and she was crying, and she told me that her mom wanted her to break up with me, and I agreed with her mom. And the reason why is she was 17. I had a life sentence. I didn't know when or if I was getting out. So, as hard as it was, I told her that I agreed with her mom. And she just cried and cried, and she goes, "I'll wait for you." I said, "Look, you're 17. I don't know if I'm even getting out." And I said, "Even if I do, it's not going to be in a few years." They just changed the law from doing at least 12 years on a life sentence to, a lot longer. And so she was upset. And there's other guys that's the same way. They tell their uh, better half, said, just go on, forget about me. And this one guy, he broke off all contact with his wife. And this is a wife he loved. This is, he told me it was the hardest thing he had to do. But he said, but she wouldn't stop. She wouldn't stop uh, loving him and caring for him and being there for him. And he says, I can't put her through that. He goes, I'm not getting out. I got life without. He goes, unless laws change, I'm not getting out. And he goes, I can't expect her to be there for me, even though she is. He said, so I took her off the visiting list, just broke off all contact with her. He goes, it was hard to do, but it had to be done. So that's just the opposite of the other guy trying to hang on. And I guess with each individual, it's different. If you just got a few years or you ain't doing a whole lot of time, and she wants to ride it out with you, hey, more power to her if you're willing to let her do that. And but you gotta take in consideration of what you putting her through. And this could go the other way around too. Women in prison. I don't know a whole lot about how that works, but I'm sure it's similar. There's some guy might be waiting out there for her to get out. That's good. If you're willing, he's willing to do that, and you guys are willing to ride it out together. That's good. My brother rode it out with me while I was in prison. I know that's different, but in a way, it's kind of the same because there's a family thing. But the thing of it is, you can't, if they decided to break it off because of the time, it may hurt, but you can't really be mad. You can't blame them for that. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. And for the people who asked me about that and others who may have been curious about that, I hope this answered your questions. If not, comment, and I'd like to hear comments anyway from people who've been in prison and people